All right, are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Welcome, one and all, episode 12 of Jag Blitz. I'm your host, or one of the hosts, Law Boyd. I'm here with my wonderful co host, the MC Wale.
I've got nothing to say, man. I want to fight everybody. I'm going to fight every single
Gonna fight
person in
him!
that building.
Fight! We are a wonderful stream slash YouTube channel that talks everything and anything Jaguars. In the term logical sense, hashtag the alternative to what is local media at this point in time. Today, we've got some wonderful topics here. We've got Game 6, we've got a rant session right there in the middle, and then we've got Game 7. So without further to do, let's get into Game 6. You go first. And this will probably be an R-rated.
No, the breakdown won't be R-rated, but
The
what
rant
we
will.
talk about
The rant
might
will.
be R-rated. I have had enough of Gus Bradley. You come home with an opportunity to get off the snide a little bit by playing in front of your home fans, getting a home win, and you can't even do that correctly. Like you can't lose to a pretty bad Texans team 31-20 and lose to them in a manner that makes them look like a much better team than you are. Brian Hoyer throws 3 touchdowns, 2 to DeAndre Hopkins.
Poorhouse.
It's just bad, just a bad situation, And the worst part is that the Jags did only enough to stay competitive because going into the fourth quarter, the score's 14-10, and you have a very strong chance of being like, if we can put together another a touchdown drive here and be able to put maybe another touchdown on the board and make it 21-10, then you feel really confident. What does Blake do? He goes out and throws a pick six, and then on top of that, I'm furious. I'm upset with the team. I'm upset with pretty much everybody in that organization that's working in football operations. I have friends that are working ticketing. I have friends that work in digital, the marketing departments and all of that. And I just feel sorry for them because these guys are.
Shut.
They've not only do they have to keep their mouth shut, but they are just as frustrated as we are as just fans. But they can't. They're not allowed to deal anything with it. And here's the worst part. I think you're looking at even though this wasn't Blake's best, it wasn't the worst game that Blake has had. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he did go 30 of he went 30 of 53,
53.
330 sorry 30 of 53, 331 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he also throws 3 picks. So I mean, it's kind of it's if you have that type of game against I'm just so frustrated, man. I can't even get my thoughts together. It's so bad. If Blake has that type of game and the defense is even just somewhat average, I mean, you should win that game pretty handily, even with the 3 picks. But the defense is just terrible. They got torched for 293 yards just on the ground. And then, on top of that, they held Arian Foster to 53 yards. So you let Brian Hoyer literally go down the field and beat you is what we're looking at. And I don't know what else to say, man. I don't know what else to say.
So my feeling on this game is, again, this is another game of a long list of games that we should win this season. This is year 3. This is not year 1. This is not year 2. This is year 3. This is the year where everything is supposed to gel. Everything's supposed to kind of come together. And this is probably, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4th game where we've made a bad team look good, very good. And I'll throw the Carolina Panthers in at week 1 just because of injuries. They look phenomenal now. I'm not throwing shit on them now. I'm talking week 1 where they're down a mega bunch of people and we make them look more better than what they were, not including the Colts game, Tampa Bay game, and now this game. And I'm just sitting there. I was at that game, and this is my first time my wife went to the game. And after the game, she's like, can you find somebody else that wants to go?
Yeah, I don't blame her.
And I'm sitting there, I was like, because my wife and I got there at 8 o'clock. Well, 8:05. Had fun, enjoyed ourselves, got into the stadium. It was good. Not as many people as I thought it was. I was actually really, 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 really shocked at how empty the stadium was almost right after kickoff.
But it's usually like that.
I, I don't know. This is only my second season as a season ticket holder, and it was one of those things. This was the first game where I looked around and was like, oh my gosh, there's nobody here. And
Trust me, I get there around 11:30, and I'm in there getting ready and prepping for what I do. And it usually does, unless it's like a Thursday night game, or if it's going to be a big game against like a Steelers or Green Bay or something like that. It usually takes time for people to fill in.
But
it also doesn't help that your team is 1-4 going into the game. People aren't excited to go see a 1-4 football team.
No, and to go through and to see the performance on the field was embarrassing. And it's one of those things, like the whole, like, let's be competitive. You could see it in Blake's face how Blake wants to win. And I think a lot of the mistakes that Blake makes is because he knows that nobody has his back. So he's like, okay, in his brain, he's like, okay, I gotta make these moves, I gotta make these throws. And that's where a lot of the pick six and stuff come from, is he knows he's not getting help anywhere else. I mean, Toby Gerhart was a joke. Denard, we didn't run Denard really at all. Allen Robinson got hurt. Allen Hurns, okay. Julius Thomas looked kind of what we kind of paid for.
Yeah, but he also dropped some easy passes. So, whether that's just him knocking off the rust, I'm not 100% sure. But there were 2 or 3 passes that hit him in the hands, and he just drops them.
And then the killer for me was no pressure. Like, absolutely no pressure. And we're asking our corners, poor house, to go through and be very, very good and cover, DeAndre Hopkins for an absurd amount of time in retrospect. And then good old Brian Hoyer picks us apart. And I'm looking at him like, okay, so this is the same Brian Hoyer that we whooped his ass last year with the Browns. And somehow he comes back, and we're supposed to be a better team than we were last year. And we just go through and just lay a goose egg right there on the field. Worse than that, poop emoji right there on the field.
Middle finger emoji. Yeah. I got that 9.1 update today. I'm gonna use that. Thing's gonna be flying on Sunday. Get ready.
And we go through, and it was just like, there's no adjustments. We don't double cover Hopkins, like after the first TD, whatever. But you could obviously see that House was having some struggles covering for such long periods of time. And it was like, okay, yeah, we stopped Foster, great. But it's almost like the defense can only protect one phase.
Here's the thing, and this is we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and start the rant. I'm sorry, I can't wait any longer. Here's my issue with Gus Bradley and his fucking defense right now. The problem is his defense relies solely on defensive pressure. That front 4, front 5, front 6, whoever he's sending in to blitz the quarterback and to add pressure so that the corners are able to do their jobs. They play in press coverage. They're supposed to be able to cover for a few seconds. They're not for a second or two. They're not supposed to be covering for 5, 6, 7, 8 fucking seconds. It's not allowed to happen. It's not the way it's supposed to go. So, I mean, it's frustrating. You're looking at a 96-year-old Chris Clemens can't rush the passer. He gets a veteran day off today. For what? He didn't play for shit on Sunday. Let's talk about Andre Branch. Andre Branch is terrible. He's absolutely awful. And yet we're still going to trot him out there like he's some sort of god that's going to figure it out. We've got guys like Ryan Davis who, how many snaps he got? 13 effing snaps. He got 13 snaps on Sunday, which is about the same amount.
Too,
yeah,
Clemens.
and more sacks than fucking Clemens and Andre Branch, which is absolutely absurd. You've got a fourth or fifth round pick in Chris Smith that we don't know if you can do anything with. He was a healthy scratch. At this point, Gus, do your job and find some pressure. Find some way to get the quarterback on his back, because I have had enough of this shit, man. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a season ticket holder. I'm a diehard fan, and I can't keep spending money on a product that is not working. And that's just looking at the defense. I think offensively, yeah, they've got a couple bumps and hiccups here or there, but for the most part, they've been the most, at least the last 3 games, they've been the most consistent part of the entire team.
Yep. Well,
That's part one of my rant. That's part one. Anyways,
are you
take
sure
a
you're not
continue.
done? Are
No,
you
I'm not.
shut up
I'm
before I
not.
go
I'm,
in?
no,
Are
I'm
you
not
sure?
done
Are
yet.
you sure?
Not done yet. But
You want to keep
continue.
going
Anyways,
before I start
no,
going
no, no,
in?
no, no. No, you go in. Go in.
All right, here we go. Huzzah. Well, I think here, old Bill Bob here, love my Jaguars. And I just wish, we only got 10 games since good old Jack Del Rios. So we should bring back Jack Del Rios. And we should just trust in the process. Trust in the good old process. Don't get rid of Gus. Gus is a good guy. Love my Gus. We just need to get some health back in this field. Good old Justin Blackman. You can see me wear my Justin Blackman jersey. He gonna come back. He gonna come back to this team. He's gonna come back, and we just Dave needs to reach out to Blackman. He needs to be there with him, help him through his struggles. Because Blackman is the real deal. Why did we give up on Blackman? Why do we do that? I mean, if we would have had this offensive line with Blaine Gabbert, he would have been good. He would have been great. I mean, offensive line looks good this year, and we just ruined Blaine Gabbert. Why we do that? I just don't understand. You all want to get rid of Gus? No, we don't want to get rid of Gus. Get rid of Dave. Blake Bortles fucking sucks. I hate Blake Bortles. Keep throwing all those pick sixes. All these pick sixes everywhere. I mean, come on now. And Puz is the best player on our team right now. I love me some Puz. He just tackles everything. I'm telling you right now. He just tackles and tackles on tackles.
You seem like every Jags fan that was born in the 1960s or 70s.
Yes.
That's a pretty spot on. I'll give you that. Hold on.
Sitting here going, oh my gosh!
Here's the sad thing. That's all stuff you've heard all week. That's stuff you've heard all freaking week.
I'm seeing this week going, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious right now? We have a quarterback that is leading the league in touchdowns, 13-7. Yeah, he's got 3 pick sixes, one in this game, one against Tampa Bay, and then one against good old Carolina. But I mean, Blake Bortles has looked pretty spot on. Granted some hiccups. We have 2 wide receivers in the top 20 right now who could potentially both break 1,000 yards, which hasn't been done since Jimmy Smith. And up until TJ Yeldon injury, he was on pace to break 1,000 yards. And we have people claiming to be, I'm not saying they're not fans, but people that are calling in saying that Gus is not the issue, it's Dave and Dave's crappy drafts. Granted, I'll give you the 2013 draft was pretty shitty.
Yeah, but the 13th draft is looking as a whole
was pretty really shitty.
Bad. Like awful.
I mean, if you go through and you kind of, let's say, give Dave a mulligan for 2013, 2014, 2015 are pretty spot on. Especially 2014, where you're going to have Blake, you're going to have Telvin, you're going to have Linder. And it's just one of those things. And you're going to have Allen Robinson.
Wideouts.
Lee, let's not count Lee. And then you're going to have Hearns, who we picked up on undrafted free agency that year. But I mean, to sit there and say that Gus is not the issue is absurd.
Well, I think I can't tell you what the term is. I think it's irresponsible to say that it is not on the coaching right now, because honestly, look at it. You're looking at a team that is 1-5, and 4 out of the 6 games that they lost
were to teams that had 1 win or less.
Were to and games that were absolutely winnable if you found a way to win. Some games you were even leading going into the fourth quarter, and you can't find a way to close it out. So you can miss me with it's on Dave. Yeah, I'm not saying that Dave's not without his criticisms, because he missed some opportunities to maybe add some talent, maybe in that 13 off season, but he decided not to. But looking at the overall picture, what the roster that he has built, even with the injuries, should be good enough to be
3-2.
3-2, maybe.
Let's count the Panthers game and the Pats game. Those are the 2 games I would give up at this point.
But even then, you were close to beating. You could have beat the Panthers. I mean, you could be 4-2, 3-3 at worst. You should be 3-3 at worst.
Yeah.
And we're here looking at a 1-5 record, and state sponsored media is telling us that, oh well, we don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what's going on. You guys are just fans. You should just focus on being fans and do. Look, don't. We're not stupid. It's 2015, man. We've got more access to
More access to information.
more
than anywhere
access to the
before.
inside of the team than we've ever had. And you're gonna sit here and bullshit us like saying, "Oh well, trust the process." No, here's the thing. You want to know what the truth is? You're 8-30 right now. You're 8-30. All right.
I just want
8-30.
everybody to know
That
this
is-
is a wonderful, wonderful thing by Ryan Day, and also I think made by Tim on Twitter. If I go to work and I have shitty performance for 2.5 years, my ass is getting fired. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I'm not
Doesn't
working.
matter
I'm not
what
working
I'm
at that
doing.
form.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what job I'm in, except for maybe if I'm a politician. I mean, I can do a fairly subpar job and get let go. Like, I had this conversation with people at work today. I was like, yeah, hypothetically, in a performance-based work environment, what happens if you're not performing for a year and a half, 2-3 years? Like, you're fired probably after 6 months.
Yeah, look, I've been today was my 2-year anniversary at my full-time job, and if my performance drops in the next, even if my performance drops in the next 2-3 months, I may not have a job. You're telling me we're gonna give Gus Bradley another year at the end of the say
Oh,
say he
God.
finds hold on, let's just
Oh,
go ahead and move in.
gosh.
Let's go ahead and move into this next segment because I know you want to talk about it. The Gus Gonometer. If I'm still at like a 4 or 5.
What?
Because I'm getting to the point of realizing that it's not gonna get any better. They may not fire this cat, and here's the thing: I almost don't want it to. I want this to get really,
Why?
really ugly.
Why?
I just do because I'm that kind of asshole. All right,
Oh,
like
my
it sounds terrible to be so much of a fan, but to be treated like we have no clue what is going on. Like we see the shit with our eyes, and like it's just upsetting. It's upsetting to be treated like this. Last year, the organization tried to treat us like we had no idea what we were talking about. Like all of the things that we see was just, oh well, you guys aren't in football, you have no idea. Now this year, it's not only the organization kind of telling us, it's the state sponsored media, all of the people that are sponsored by the Jaguars, and have corporate sponsorships with the Jaguars. Tony Baselli,
Lageman.
Jeff Lageman, all of those guys towing the
1010
company
XL.
line. And I understand to a point where towing the company line is important because you don't want to potentially damage or ruin anything that you've got going in there. But to attack fans, especially when fans have been they have been extremely patient over the last 3 years trying to wait for this thing to turn around, and you're going to go out and start treating us like shit, like we don't know what we're talking about. Now, fuck that, all right? Get up out our faces, man, because we know we have knowledge. We're not dumb. We're not stupid anymore. We spend a lot of money investing into your product. We spend a lot of time and energy investing into this product. And you're going to sit there and try and bullshit us like, oh, well, you guys don't know what you're doing. You're just fans. Just be fans. Look, people don't want to be fans of shitty products. Nobody wants to be a fan of something that doesn't work out or help. I hate coming home on Sundays and watching football games and feeling like I've wasted my entire effing
Yep.
day. Like
Yep.
that is the worst feeling in the world. You know why I'm glad this game is at 9:30 this Sunday? So that I don't feel like I've lost my Sunday afternoon when the Jaguars lose to Buffalo. That's why. I can still go out and do something with my entire day instead of being like, well, it's 4:00. Let me go ahead and shut Sunday down and get ready for my day at work start my week of work the next week. No, football's supposed to be fun. I shouldn't be feeling like this every fucking week. I shouldn't.
Yeah, for me, let's see. I've only been to two games because Colton from Twitter needs to come back because we win when he's here. But I've only
Colton football.
Colton football needs to come back. But I've only been to 2 Jaguar games and this season because I went to the home opener against the Panthers, and then I went to this past one, and then I watched the Patriots game at a friend's. And typically how it goes is, okay, drinking in the morning, watch the game, leave the game, pass the fuck out at home at like 5, 6 o'clock, like fall asleep, just and sit there. My wife lets me sleep till like 7 or 8 o'clock. She wakes me up. She's like, "Hey, you're asleep on the couch." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, what? Oh, it's only 8 o'clock. Okay, drink some water and then go back to bed." And so that's where my wonderful poor wife sat there on this Sunday after that whole charade. Monday morning, when I woke up to go to my job, and she's like, yeah, can you take somebody else? Because I don't want to waste a Sunday. Because it's a whole Sunday. And we left a little early, not super early, but we left a little early on Sunday. We left like 3 or 4 minutes left or whatever. And it was after another pick or whatever. And just go through, and she's like, I would rather not spend 9 hours at a stadium to watch us lose.
Right. So I got a question for you. Where's your Gus O gone meter at?
10.
It's at 10, so it's stayed consistent.
It's a 10 because at this point in time, more and more players are sticking up. More and more players are being okay, and the fan base as a whole is being okay with losing. And not as a whole. I mean, there's I guess the majority of people that are calling into these radio stations and commenting on these posts. Our friends at Big Cat Country said they lost 200 followers on their Facebook page over a satire piece.
Which is incredible, by the way.
I know, because people are, I guess, I wasn't going to be that mean.
No, I'll say it. We've got some dumb people that live in the city. And I don't say that out of malice or or trying to be mean, but no, we really have some people that don't understand, whether they don't understand satire or they just don't understand like how reality and life work.
Well,
like
it's one of those things where you
sucks.
go through and you have somebody that's underperforming as a coach and their defensive guru. And you stated earlier, the last 3 games, our offenses looked okay, if not good. And our defense has been the glaring mistake.
Looks trash. Absolute trash.
Our head coach came from one of the best defenses in the last 15 years in the Seattle Legion of Boom. Like, he was supposed to be the architect of that shit. And ours looks exactly like shit. So I don't understand how people sit there and they just want to post blame. So whatever.
People are scared. They don't want to go through another rebuild, which, by the way,
we won't be going through another rebuild.
It's not another rebuild.
No, it's a matter of a new head coach, a new coaching staff, and I get it. I don't really want to lose Greg Olson at this point in time because I think he's doing, he's had some good progress with Blake.
He's doing okay.
And I understand a new head coach may not want to bring him in. But at the same time, the whole idea of that Gus was dealt a raw hand and all this other BS, it's like, okay, Gus was given pretty much a blank slate when he was hired, and how many coaches would fucking kill for that and say, hey,
also,
you can do whatever you want with this roster. I'm gonna sit here and partner with you and pick players that we kind of agree upon, because Dave has been pretty open as to about how he takes Gus's input into his picks. I don't know of another GM that really at least openly admits that and says, hey, I really appreciate the input my head coach gives me, and I take what he says into consideration, where I would say most GMs in the league are like, here's the pieces, make that shit work.
Right. And here's the thing. I think Gus Bradley, here's the thing. Gus knew what he was coming into when he took this job.
Yes.
He knew exactly what he was coming into. Whether he thought that, year 3, I could still kind of loaf around. Well, no, that's not. You know what you signed up for when you got here. And the fact that your team has a better roster and still worse results over a 3-year span, it's not
terrible.
Good. Yeah.
Terrible part about it. His best year is the year where our roster was the most
looking
trash.
Like his first year. Yeah, it's looking like his first year. But let's go ahead and let's move on to Game 7 against the Buffalo Bills in London. The Jags are taking off on Thursday instead of doing the whole week-long extravaganza tour that they usually do.
which the Four Letter Network has said is an absurdity because there's, I guess, experts that have said we won't get enough sleep and acclimate, so we're just predestined to lose this game.
No, it's whatever. Like, look, I've traveled overseas before. Yeah, jet lag is a thing, but it's not that bad. If they're leaving Thursday night, they'll get to London
Friday
Friday
morning.
mid afternoon. No, it'll be Friday mid afternoon by the time they land and get settled and stuff like that. They'll spend the day on Friday. They'll go to bed pretty early on Friday night, wake up early on Saturday, go through the day, try and go through the day as best as they can, and then by Sunday they'll be ready to go like it's a normal day. The jet lag thing is only I think it's only a thing if you don't travel very much. If you travel pretty often, then it really shouldn't affect you as much. But I don't know what to think because Buffalo is coming into this game kind of like India did with just a lot of injuries. They've got a lot of players that are injured. You've got, even though Tyrod Taylor took a couple snaps in practice so far this week,
EJ Manuel.
EJ Manuel still could be the guy that comes in and starts.
He lit our ass up before.
You're without Kyle. They're without Kyle Williams. They're without Percy Harvin. They're without a couple of playmakers, both on the offensive
Sammy Watkins.
No Sammy Watkins. Central Henderson is out, one of their better offensive players, offensive tackle, like offensive linemen. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the Jags can do. Am I going to predict a win?
No.
Fuck no, because
Nope.
I can't predict wins for this team anymore. I've done that 3 or 4 times this year, and it has backfired and has bit me in the ass. So I refuse to do it. But I will say this: if Jacksonville can put their best game ever forward here on Sunday, then they stand a chance of winning the game. What about you? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking the cynic in me wants me to sit Blake Bortles, play Chad Henne, because SDS Jax, thank you. Woo. Thank you for the follow. I think we should sit Blake Bortles. I don't want to.
Or what?
Fucking Chad Henne. Let Chad Henne take 5, 6, 7 sacks this game. Because that's all Rex Ryan's going to do. Rex Ryan knows our offensive line can't block. He knows that we are littered with injuries. Like, Rex Ryan is a better prepare for games than Gus Bradley. He's going to go through and just be like, blitz, blitz. He's sitting there going, okay, this will be some great soundbite shit. And I'm hoping... So yeah, sit Blake. Let Blake just sit there, regen, do some yoga, some tai chi on the sideline, and let Chad Henne get sacked a fuck ton of times because that's what I think's gonna happen. I think if Blake starts, he's gonna take 5+ sacks this game. Mario Williams is pissed. They are out for blood. They want to show people that they're a good team because on paper they're a very good team on defense. And their offense will just probably feed the ball to a running back because we have a history of not making that happen. And EJ Manuel's going to show up and be like, yeah, I know you guys thought I was shit for so many weeks, but I'm going to ball the fuck out on you guys and throw for 400 yards. So
you're not feeling confident about this game at all, which
No,
I guess leads into the next question. Is this a make or break game for Gus?
No. Personally, I think yes, but I thought that last week and the week before that. Unfortunately, I think that, and I do think with Khan's comments, and I honestly don't think Khan would honestly openly state he doesn't support somebody in the front office, whether it's the coach or the GM. I don't think that Dave is going to cut Gus without Khan pushing the subject, because they stated when they hired Gus this was a 4-year process. And
8-30. I will keep bringing that up. 4-year process.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
Sometimes you have to accelerate a program or
I just
exclude
think,
a program.
I think that Dave comes across as somebody that really wants to stick to we'll call it, and I'll put air quotes, the plan. And the plan was 4 years. So without Khan being like, hey, I'm sick of fucking losing. Sick of fucking losing. Get your shit together. I don't think this is a make or break lose for Gus. If there's a time to fire him or let him go or strongly suggest he resigns. Now is the time because if after we, I think we're gonna lose after the loss. I think that's the time because it gives you 2 weeks to find an interim, all that other good stuff to make that happen. But if we lose, which I fully expect us to lose, which won't be a problem for me when I watch it in my Blaine Gabbert jersey at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday, in my old school Jaguars logo shit.
I guess the question is, are you going to be watching in bed, or are you actually going to get up out of your out of bed and watching on your
I
couch?
watch on TV. I mean, I watched the Jets game, Jets Dolphins game, and that needs to be for anybody that says we can't win if we fire that coach. The fucking Dolphins won with some crazy man that they just randomly picked up.
Dan Campbell,
youngest
Dan
coach,
Campbell.
Youngest interim coach in the league. He comes in and then make an embarrassment out of Tennessee and unfortunately injure Mariota. I don't wish injuries on any team, but I mean he comes in and the team's like, oh shit, oh my gosh, oh we're great again because nobody's there.
Weird how a fan base will turn right back around if you can find ways to win and win convincingly.
Yes. So
Gus?
what are you thinking this game?
No, I don't have any expectations for this game. I've lost all expectations for this Jaguars team, to be honest with you. And that's sad because I really, really like Gus Bradley. I like the guy. Genuinely, I was rooting for him in even some of the tweets that I had last year coming into this offseason. All of it was like, God, I wish he can turn it around. Because if he can turn it around, he'll be a rock star. He hasn't been able to do it. It's unfortunate. Jags are going to go to London. They're going to get their asses kicked. And what's going to happen is they'll come back. The fans will bitch and they're going to be upset. And the front office won't do anything. And they'll just be like, look, this is what we signed. This is what we signed up for. This is what you signed up for, Jacksonville fans. So buckle up because this is going to be a fun second half of the season.
And to me, our season just gets fucking worse.
Oh, dude. I can't wait to see how we're losing the bye week this week.
I'm not worried about the bye week. Oh, fuck the East of the bye week. My gosh, I'm dropping F-bombs like crazy.
So am I, man.
So, because we have Baltimore. No, we don't. We have
the
Houston,
Jets, then Baltimore.
Then Baltimore, which I think we're going to lose both those games. And then we come back Thursday night on short rest after Baltimore to the Titans. And I'll be there. I don't know. My wife may or may not be there.
I'll be there, too. I'm always there.
But I just don't know if I can take a Gus Bradley loss at home against the Titans. I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm not about it, dude. So we'll see what happens, though, man. That's the beauty, I guess, of football is that you never quite know what's going to happen week to week. It's a week-by-week game, and it's a game of inches, except this game of inches sucks.
Yes, it sucks, and not like an Asian hooker sucks.
Wow. not where I was going to go, but okay. Teach their own.
I told you it's going to be R-rated. I told you. But yes, we will close it out. We will see you guys next week, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard. This will be posted very, very shortly on YouTube. Unlike last week's episode, I'll make sure to get this up. You can follow wonderful and amazing Wale at the MC Wale on Twitter. You can follow myself, good old Billy Bob, on at Lobwood.
My Twitter account's a lot more clean than this show episode, though. I'll tell you that.
Agreed. We are definitely a lot more people friendly on Twitter because we understand that like random people actually watch that stuff. So
well, random people watch this too, and I'm just saying for this one, this was a not safe for work episode.
Nope.
Officially labeled.
Definitely not safe for. Oh, that's a good idea. When I post this shit to YouTube, not safe for work. But yes, please give us your thoughts, opinions. We would love to do a mailbag session. Anything, we are open, so we are not going to belittle you or anything like that. We'll play both sides.
I might belittle you a little bit.
Okay, that's fine.
But it's out of love.
Well, he may, but I'll play devil's advocate every single time because I'm real big on that shit. So, thank you, love you.
Good night.
Says goodbye. Okay.